The learning is Nishmas Etta Ahuva bas Yaakov. Kesubos Perik Yebei's Mishna Aleph. If someone marries a woman, upaske imoy, and she makes up with him. Kidei sheyazan esbita chamei shanim. In other words, she comes in with a daughter, and she makes up that I want you to support my daughter, to feed my daughter for 5 years. So the halacha is chayiv l'zayna chamei shanim. He has to support her for 5 years. So the Gemara says that this is talking about that there was shtare pisikta, that there was a shtar tanoim, and by that tanoim there were eidim there, and then he could be mechayiv himself with hamira alone, even without a kinyan. And she has a halacha like a balas chayiv, like as if he owes her money. In other words, the Baal owes Bas Ishtay Mezainis for 5 years. And this is La'achar Upaski Imay Kadeshi Yazin is Bita Chamei Shanim. If he divorces her and now she goes and marries another man, and that other man also makes up to support the daughter 5 years, Chayv V'Zayna Chamei Shanim, the first Baal is still Mechuyev because it was a Baal Chayiv and he never paid up. He has to pay up for 5 years worth of Mezainis. He can't say that if I was married to your mother still, then I would support you. But now, if she married someone else, I'm not supporting you. No, since she's a Baal Chayiv, the halacha is the makam shehiyimai. He has to bring the mezainas to where the Bas Ishta is staying, dahaina with his prior wife. The Agav, the Mishnah says over here, the Rav brings down that the Gemara brings down on this thing, which is brought in the Rav, that the derech was that a Bas Ishta would be living with her mother as opposed to the previous marriage. The first marriage could be the husband died, but the derech is to live with the mother as opposed to living with her brothers. The Mishnah continues, the two husbands, in other words, the two that made up to support their bas ishtais, they can't both give mezainis. Ella echad zana, one gives mezainis, which would be the husband that she's living with now, would give the mezainis. And the first husband would pay the value of that mezainis. Mishnah Beis, Nisis, now we're talking about that the Bas Ishta got married, the daughter got married, so now she has a third person to feed her husband. Habal Noisin La Mezainis. So now her husband has to give the Mezainis. The Hey Noisin La Demei Mezainis is the stepfather and the previous father both have to give the Demei Mezainis because they were both Mechayiv themselves for 5 years. Mesu, if the two husbands die, so their own daughters, not the Bas Ishta, they would get fed because that's always the halacha, that your daughters get fed. And the reason is Mishnah Gittin says that they take in oilam that lekuches don't know to be careful because they don't know how much mezainis there is. Tuman da'amrim, either because it's not ksuvim, either because there's no set amount or because it's not written down. But the Mishnah continues, this Bas Ishta, that's really what the Mishnah wants to come tell us, that she's even stronger, because she's a Balas Chayiv. So she's Nizainis Minchasim Mishubadim and Sheikah Balas Chayiv. She could even collect from the Kulchais. The Mishnah ends off, Hapichin Hayukaisim, which by now we probably figured out that if you're smart, you were right. Even if you're making up to feed a Bas Ishta, you would make sure to stipulate, to write down in a Tanai that I'm only feeding her not just 5 years, but I'm supporting you 5 years if we remain married. And this way, if he divorces her and she marries someone else, he won't have to feed the Bas Ishta anymore.